What does the future of the Daytona 500 look like? There's no doubt that the Daytona 500 is one of the most prestigious races in the world of racing. But what does the future of the Daytona 500 look like? Some say that the race is in decline, while others believe that it still has a lot of potential. So what's the truth? But before we proceed, don't forget to subscribe to our channel and click on the bell icon so that you don't miss out on any of our wonderful videos in the future. And let us dive in.
Hurricane is over before you know it. While you're shaking, we're
NASCAR's next-gen car made its official debut on February 20 here at the Daytona 500 with the Motorsports Cup Series at the race. However, there is more to this seventh generation of the sports stock car than its resemblance to the cars that fans actually drive, particularly when it comes to television production. Along with the modifications that make the car faster and more nimble, as Kurt Busch highlighted after making a test run in November. This most recent iteration of the car also features adjustments for where in-car cameras are positioned, as well as how telemetry, video, and audio data are communicated. Fox Sports Senior Vice President of Technology and Field Operations, Michael Davies, found it pretty cool that NASCAR involved them in the design process. When we arrived at the NASCAR Research and Development Center in Concord, North Carolina, we found that we already had a body for the new car. We had some fun experimenting with different camera placements alongside the actual individuals who were driving the test vehicle. Do you find the topic of the video interesting or not? Let me know in the comments. He continued by saying, "It was the first time that we actually had our director and producer engaged with where we were able to put the cameras. Two significant adjustments were made to the camera's previous positioning. To begin, the cam that controls the front bumper was placed in an exceptionally low position relative to the ground. It does not appear that a camera mounted on the front bumper would be anything that would in fact make a difference. However, as Davies points out, when you see it for yourself, it's really cool." The second, which he claims needed a significant amount of coordination with NASCAR, is a rear spoiler cam that looks down the side of the car and may or may not be ready for Sunday's race. He says this camera will view down the side of the car. Even though the in-car cameras are still 720p HD, there hasn't been any shortage of effort put into upgrading to 1080p HD. However, problems with their supply chain, which have been felt throughout the economy, prevented them from being prepared for the Daytona race. According to Davies, the older existing cameras will be upgraded to 1080p resolution over the course of the season as newer models become available. Although Fox uses 720p for its broadcasts, Fox Sports will shoot the Daytona 500 in 1080p, which will then be converted to 720p for broadcast. The folks who are in the production truck are the only ones who will see it at 1080p, adds Davies. No one else will. Disruptions in the supply chain also slowed down the release of telemetry upgrades for next-generation cars. He explains that the automobile is kind of built up for years to come in terms of being able to flow signals around it more quickly, and that trying to get the video feeds, the data, and the telemetry in one feed is one of their goals. Before we go any further, I would like to kindly ask you to subscribe. You will help me a lot with it. According to Davies, Fox was forced to delay the change until later in the season, just as they did with the upgrading to the 1080p in-car camera. This will allow for the necessary technology to become more readily available. Bites of the apple? What does it mean? Let's find out. In addition to the race vehicles themselves, Fox Sports will expand its use of drones and add a camera crane that is 80 feet in height. Daytona's front midway is one of the most entertaining in the country. We really wanted to get as many people out there as possible, especially since our pre-race presentation is going to be rather lengthy. For that shot, we're going to employ the usage of the crane, explains Davies. In time for the start of the race, the crane will have been moved to its new location on the backstretch. He believes that it will be utilized there in an effort to attempt to look over that back automobile. Fox will also add a unique graphical style that has been specifically designed for the race. According to Davies, the intriguing thing about the way Fox is treating the graphics package at this point is that rather than having one graphics package that kind of gets transformed into other sports, each graphics package is absolutely different for every sport. Another piece of cutting-edge technology that will be implemented is the production truck that will compete in the Daytona 500. Instead of the Game Creek Cletus truck, which is often utilized for racing coverage, Fox Sports will make use of the Game Creek Encore for the broadcast of the event. This truck was used a few weeks ago on the West Coast to produce the Clash at the Los Angeles Coliseum, and it will continue to be utilized as the race season unfolds. Encore is the same truck that does football and will do the Super Bowl next year, he explains. Encore has been doing football for a long time. Davies, who has competed in the Daytona 500 for the past 16 years, has observed that the race schedule for this year is different from that of previous years. He views this shift as a positive development. There was a time when the Clash would take place 1 week prior to the Daytona 500. According to him, we did something resembling a disciplined timetable that really hadn't altered for years. NASCAR makes significant improvements to next-gen vehicles, including larger wheels with only one lug nut. So, what's new with the NASCAR next-gen car at Daytona 500? Let's find out. NASCAR introduced the highly anticipated next-gen Cup Series cars for competition in February, over 3 years after design began and more than a year after the introduction was initially delayed due to COVID-19. At the announcement, which took place at the Park Expo in Charlotte, North Carolina, Ford, Chevrolet, and Toyota were all there. Chase Elliott, who won the Cup last year, was there, as were Denny Hamlin of Toyota and 2018 champion Joey Logano, who said the new cars are more like the ones you see on the street. It will be a lot of fun to try to win the championship next year, said Logano, who drives the number 22 Ford. Each part of this car is unique. The 2022 next-gen Chevrolet Camaro ZL1, Ford Mustang, and Toyota TRD Camry were shown to the public for the first time in February. Some of the car's features, like sleeker designs and bigger wheels, were on display. The next-gen car had a more stock feel to make it more like a production car. It also had a lot of new parts, some of which had already been seen on test mule prototypes, and some of which NASCAR fans and the industry saw for the first time. And that brings us to the end of the video. Feel free to let us know what you think about this video. And if you like this video, then please leave a like and subscribe to our channel for all things. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you in the next one.
We're victorious, I'm